If you're like me, there are probably two main superheroes that hold up the Jenga block tower that is Marvel Studios. Spidey, and of course his somewhat father figure, Iron Man. Now what if I told you Iron Man has been singing lullabies to Spider-Man to help him fall asleep at night? While this isn't true, can we rely on Iron Man to put this annoying teenager to sleep? Well, the answer might surprise you, or at least leave you in a web of confusion. Because believe it or not, our favorite condiment-colored superhero has a trippy past that many people don't know about. And when I found out about it, it gave me such delight that I really wanted to share it with you guys today. And if you guys wanted to subscribe, that'd be delightful too. Oh yeah, what's up? My name is Joel Downing, and welcome back to Down for Anything.
Still a working title.
The greatest show on this side and that side of my two neighbors' houses. And today we're going to look at arguably Hollywood's biggest comeback king. And no, I'm not talking about Ke Huy Quan,
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potato.
but rather a man who arguably, and I'm sure many of you know from the countless documentaries here on YouTube, started the Marvel franchise. Personally, I believe Tobey Maguire started it. Technically, he came first, but that's an argument for another channel. This man came from humble beginnings, smoking at the age of 7, drinking only a few years later, and now he's one of the most highly regarded actors in the whole of Hollywood. I'm of course talking about Robert Downey Jr.
The Futurist, gentlemen! The Futurist is here!
If you couldn't read the title. And if you couldn't tell from the title, I don't know, go back to school. But today I don't want to talk about what he's normally known for. No. No cars, no drugs, no girls, no robots, nothing cool. Unless you consider sound devices cool, then you and I can meet in the middle without having to go to a cornfield. You see, when someone's life is so intricately laced with struggle and art, like many Doc Marten wearers pretend to be, there are pockets of their life that go unnoticed because of all the different things that they've done, mainly because of drugs. Sounds kind of like my rage week after I matriculated. Just joking, guys, I never matriculated. But regardless if I finished school or not, today I wanted to shine my mini nuclear reactor on something that I thought was emotional and thought-provoking. And yes, I know what you're thinking, I could be a professor, but instead I choose to be here making sick content for you guys. So smash a like for that, please. Our journey begins on the telly, specifically on a show called Ally McBeal. What made this first time appearance for Robert Downey Jr. showing off those pipes was that, just based off the research that I did, it was arguably when he was at the lowest point in his life when he did this performance. And it's still a great performance by all means.
Every breath you take, and every move you make.
Then in 1992, the movie Chaplin came out, and Robert Downey Jr. got another excuse to show off those lungs. And this is when buzz started really growing around his music and what people thought he could do and the potential that he had.
Smiling maybe tomorrow.
Robert Downey Jr.'s love can be traced back to his childhood days, when his father first introduced him to genres like classical music and rock. He even cited that Sting was one of the main influences for his first album that he dropped, and even got the opportunity to perform with him.
How can you say that you're not responsible? What does he have to do with me?
It's no secret though that at this time in his life, Robert Downey Jr. was doing a lot of partying and drugs, meaning that he had a lot of spare time on his hands. With all this extra time and a few notable singing performances, Robert Downey Jr. got his first taste of mechanics. Not those type of mechanics. Remember, no cars, no girls, nothing fun. Instead, he started learning about the mechanics to tune your ears. Now imagine if Billy Joel and Bruce Springsteen had a baby. Is this a fever dream? Am I your new favorite Red Dead Redemption character? You'd think so. But Robert Downey Jr.'s music is a blend of blues, jazz, a little bit of pop, soul, and even a hint of African drum influence, with songs that feel deeply personal, inspirational, and reflective. Reflective maybe even being the key component to all his songs. As we'll hear now in a little bit, a lot of them look back at what he's done and are giving like messages to his future self. Compared to his acting, his music feels a lot more raw and fragile. Often this man sounds like he's about to break into tears with a super husky and gravelly voice. And honestly, that's the part that caught me the most off guard when I first heard this project, was how he sounded when he sings. It's still smooth, but it's got that like gravelliness to it. Because when Robert Downey Jr. speaks, like on interviews and stuff, he's a very well-spoken person. And sometimes on here, he sounds a little like a French man trying to speak English. But it's really cool, and it's done really well. This album, The Futurist, gives us a peek inside a room that we don't normally get access to. And that's Robert Downey Jr. being his real self. Yes, we see him all the time on TV, acting and things like that. But when he's on TV, he's, you guessed it, acting. With The Futurist, we get Robert Downey Jr., not a character in a story. And even with talking about interviews, people on interviews are always going to try and present their best selves. In music, people are often trying to dig deeper and express their struggles. So with this project, I strongly believe that if you think you know Robert Downey Jr. and haven't listened to this project, then you don't really know him, because this is a whole other side. This album doesn't feel like he went with whichever glove fit best, but whichever one made the best sound when he squeezed it on. Robert Downey Jr. is honest on this album. Talks about past love, optimism, and his relentless internal battle with his thoughts. The one side constantly dragging him down, and the other side fighting for all. But what the fuck does it sound like? Play us the music. Play us the music, Jean-Claude. I hear you. I hear you. So without further ado, let's not roll this shit.
Spit grab bullets are back out of the back door, and the 20s roll around in my hand.
The first track, Man Like Me, has Robert Downey Jr. playing the piano beautifully, super soft and calm, introducing us to the theme and the type of feelings that we should be expecting in this album. You can really hear that twang from the Springsteen, Joel kind of era that I was talking about.
Love in these modern times, I'll become what your first class said.
The second track of the album is a standout for me, titled Broken. This one, you can hear the African drum influence quite clearly in the background. And if I'm being honest, this song sounds like it could have been on the movie Spirit. The song is about loving someone that has a broken heart and just the struggles that come with that. It really is a beautiful number and maybe my favorite from the project.
Vacation, holiday, a strange way to save a family.
Kimberly Glide is inspired by the loss of a dear friend of Robert Downey Jr. and dives deep into grief, with Rolling Stones even praising Robert Downey Jr.'s sincere delivery. This song is also another beautiful one.
Another one. Another one.
I could see this being on Spirit again. Honestly, Robert Downey Jr. and
Bryan Adams
just make an album together. I think it would go crazy. The song's message is about being positive even though you don't know where things are always going in life. Sometimes life can be weaving a road or stitching a seam, you know, that we don't really know where it's always going. But this is this relentlessness that I was talking about earlier, with him showing that even though things are bad and we don't know where things are going, you do need to be positive and just shine through. The standouts from this track were also its drums and the violin, putting it in the top 3 for me as well. When listening to this song, what I could think was Robert Downey Jr.'s music sounds organic. Against like the super hyper produced music that we hear today, this music just sounds super raw.
Fucking bass is fucking raw!
It still sounds like it was recorded in a studio, all the instruments were recorded live, and I really love that about this project.
Still take the walk, we'll sage the world.
The title track, The Futurist, reads like a love letter to a future self, blending wistful lyrics with a cinematic vibe.
And my fear and my pride, shadow inside with a note on the door.
Detail shows his more intimate side, but mixes it with his bluesy aesthetic, which gives us this almost wedding song-like tone, which confirms the thoughts of this being for a future lover, I think. And as we know, Robert Downey ended up getting married, so good on you, Robert. Can we get a good on you, Robert, in the comments for the big man? Details is also the saddest song on the project, but Robert Downey Jr. won't let it happen. Even though it's sad, he still perseveres and shows that there's a positive light at the end of the tunnel. He's basically the sad police on this project, just like whenever you think it's going to be like a super morbid song, he finds a way to inject positivity inside of this sad message.
Why aren't you kissing? And if you think
We then have Little Clowns, and this feels more like a late night conversation. I had an issue with this track with that the lyrics felt like they were fighting the instruments at some points, which made it a bit hard for my ears to digest it organically. Bit of a wham bam thank you Iron Man situation. But overall I think this song is about him and his friends, either when they were younger or just when they're being kind of little clowns, a little bit raucous kind of thing, and about the blissfulness of youthful ignorance. What'd I tell you? Fucking professor.
that's my love, all falls down.
530 is the first track that Robert Downey Jr. ever wrote, and it's definitely a top 3 contender. This song is a super powerful piano track, which makes sense. The first song he ever wrote, with the first instrument that he ever learned how to play. And when these two worlds come together, Robert Downey Jr. is maybe at his best. There's also a really cheeky muted bass, which gives this feeling of like you're itching to get out of your work clothes and just get into something a lot more comfy. Overall, I love this track, and yeah, definitely a top 3 contender.
Now the clock's done ticking on my whole motivation.
Hannah is about a friend that lost his sister, and while it is a sad song, you guys are gonna hate me for this, it's a really crappy song. The lyrics aren't good, the delivery isn't great, I can't always understand really what he's saying on this song. While the message is important, it's hindered by the lack of quality in this track. And because I don't know Hannah, she's not the generalized girl you had a crush on or something like that, or generalized girl that you lost, because it's not done well, it makes it muddier. It makes it even muddier, if that makes any sense. This chicken is going crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's a rooster going wild outside right now. The message of being positive when you don't really know where things is going really resonates with me because, well, fuck, I'm trying to be a YouTuber over here. Alright, Different Dimension Jean-Claude is back, and now we're going to be talking about cover art. Now there's actually 2, so get excited. The first cover art reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this before, but sometimes when I would visit just some friends' houses, one in particular, I'm not going to call him out, when I would visit his house, I always noticed like they had these pictures of, you know those family ones when everyone's like posing and it's like super staged, like a super staged family photo shoot kind of thing, where it's just like, that's what this cover art reminds me of for this album, The Futurist. It's a good photo, I guess, but it just looks like a kind of toilet paper ad for puppies, like something like that. Like put some toilet paper and puppies in front of him and it's a toilet paper ad. But now the second one I do like a lot. This one is kind of like pop arty. Like this one I could see like Andy Warhol, fuck, I hope I pronounced that right, kind of style. It looks like if it was in a museum, really big and really cool, big striking colors. Yeah, it looks very textured as well. I don't know if it was like an actual painting or if it was just like in Photoshop, they just like textured it like that. But yeah, it looks really good. The second one I like more than the first one. And it's a shame because the first one is the one that's on YouTube. I'm assuming that's the one that he liked more, but yeah. It's alright. Got that septia. But yeah, both cover arts do the music justice, regardless. Looking at the first one, I think you get a really good indication of what the sound is going to be like, which is good. It's good for a consumer. They're going to check it. They're going to be like, oh, sick. I know what I'm getting with this. The second one is cool, I think, because you'd look at it and be like, this is probably going to sound, you know, a certain kind of way. You're thinking maybe a little bit more like a beat kind of thing. And then you dive into it and you get like, you know, what we just heard. And yeah, it's completely different. And I think a surprise is always great. Who doesn't love a surprise? Low-key, the second cover art looks like a poster for Tomorrowland as well. When I was younger, I used to watch a fuck ton of Tomorrowland like after movies. I don't know if you guys used to do that too. I just used to watch them and wish like, damn, I can't believe that parties like this happen. I was young, dude. I was like 13, 14, being like, I want to be there. But I mean, hey, that's just my thoughts. Comment down below which one you guys liked more. Let's see which one the majority of people enjoy. That way we can indefinitely decide. Alright, so what did we learn today about the tomato sauce and mustard man? Well, personally, I think the next Iron Man should be a musical, like the recent Joker. I think that would be best for the franchise. I mean, clearly what they're doing right now isn't working at all. Maybe in the next She-Hulk, when they're having a twerking contest, Robert Downey Jr. can play the piano and sing. All jokes aside, this project really resonated with me, and with what this channel stands for, which is it gets as good as you make it. Robert Downey Jr. really put a lot of thought and effort into this project, and you can tell by the organicness of the project. And I think that a lot of people who appreciate music can appreciate this project a lot. I guarantee it's better than 99% of the stuff that you'll hear out there. And that's not me hating or anything. It's just saying that don't think that I'm just glazing this project because this guy's Iron Man. Now, as a music lover and someone who considers himself like a connoisseur of music, I'd say this is a pretty decent project, a pretty good project for the genre. And this isn't a genre that I normally listen to at all. You can tell that he put a lot of love into it, which, like I said, resonates with this channel. It gets as good as you make it. And he made this project really good. I think if Robert Downey Jr. wanted to start releasing music independently, he'd garner quite a good fan base, a significant fan base. And yes, he's fucking Iron Man, but I think that there'd be people that would look past that and enjoy him for just the music. There's that other guy, Hawkeye, I can't remember his real name now, but like, he's got music out and that's pretty ass. For me personally, like compared to this project, The Futurist, like it's pretty ass. And no, I'm not saying I want to see Robert Downey Jr. now singing everywhere and all over my TikTok and all over my Spotify album art covers and you know what I mean, playlist covers, sorry. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that he makes pretty good music. Robert, if you need a manager, you know who to hit up, my man. And who knows, it could go horribly wrong. Like sometimes on the project, he sounded like a French man trying to speak English. You couldn't hear what he was really saying all the time. The writing also sometimes sounds like you're in a lucid dream or in some senile old person's mind. Because not all the lyrics make sense with each other, if that makes sense. Like one line to the next line doesn't always, not in all the songs, don't get me wrong, not in all the songs. Just in the ones that I didn't like in particular, it was mainly because the writing just didn't make a lot of sense. And if it don't make dollars, but that's not important. I know what you're thinking. Get this guy off the stage. Get him out of here. And with that I say, I want to know your thoughts. Did this album make your ears bleed or bust? Was this a sonic javelin or was this a sonic journey? Let's chat about it in the comments. As always, stay mad, stay magical. New shows every week now that I'm done with my exams. And I'm matriculated, guys. Don't be fooled by the dookie on my head. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.